I got a bone to pick with the culture iceberg model. So I do appreciate that you said it's a great place to begin if you're trying to understand culture and professionalism. I break this down whenever I give a keynote or a workshop, and I almost took it out of one of my most recent workshops, but then a client need maybe put it back in. Let me explain why this is important. So I'm Dr. Anna Kay, and I research the unwritten rules of work for the working class, neurodivergence, and intersections of race and gender. I have various workshops and keynotes that I give on this topic, depending on if I'm talking to leaders or entry-level employees, or all. I always meet with my clients like a week before to make sure they're good with the content and ask if there are any specific needs. And I went through my presentation with one of my recent ones, and they were like, this is great. We love it. I just don't want people to leave feeling like, oh, well, the unwritten rules of work don't apply to me because my parents never sat me down and told me explicitly that I had unwritten rules of work knowledge that others didn't. And I was like, no problem. I know exactly how to address this. And I put back in my iceberg slides. So this is the cultural iceberg, which a lot of you have seen. And the main idea behind it is that there are things that are cultural. Some of them are obvious to us, what you see at the top of the iceberg, and a lot of it isn't. I disagree after nearly a decade of research, because culture is not something that is far in the distance that you are aware of, that you see, and that is cold. And maybe it's just the 90s kid in me that's like, also, you want to avoid icebergs because of Titanic, okay? Culture is the water. And if your culture is forming icebergs that are barriers, it is your job as a leader to address that. Culture is what we don't even think we are doing. Fish don't think about water, I assume, because I don't think about air. But if you pull a fish out of water, it can't breathe. And if you hold me underwater, there's only so long I'm going to last. Nobody sits you down with a PowerPoint and says, here are the unwritten rules of work, don't tell the poor people. They are just assuming that this is normal, and if you don't know it, that you are less than, that you should. And if you don't know it, then you're not one of us, and you don't get the job, and you're not a culture fit. And this is why I always ask leaders, is your employee being unprofessional? They may be, but have you defined what that means? Because to them, culturally, it may mean something different. If you thought this was interesting and you want to hear more, I have a free article on my LinkedIn called Culture is Not an Iceberg. I also have a book coming out later this year, and you can join the mailing list linked in my bio.